Well, we are back. Severely jet-lagged, very tired, but we did have fun. So in case you missed it, throughout the last week, creators were flown across the world to check out new stuff that the League devs are working on. Some people had this event in Berlin and some people had flown to LA, which is why I am currently dying. Regardless, we did get the chance to do the classic trip around Riot's property, and we were shown a lot of things related to Spirit Blossom, but because not all embargoes have lifted yet, there are some things that we will talk about later. But for now, yes, the trip was wild. I did also get to play Riftbound, we'll talk about that later too. But most importantly, this means there is a lot of videos incoming. Now, right as this video is being released, Riot is likely releasing their own dev post, where they will talk about similar things, without some of the cooler details, while also giving us some other details which are not shown to us, such as this. I did not expect that. Anyway, as we sat down at Riot's presentation, we were given a notebook, which means I don't need a script, I'm just gonna read my notes. So our content reveal started with a presentation about the story so far. Yes, Riot did actually summarize the story, and so I can tell you now that they did confirm some things which were previously only theorized. For example, we do get a confirmation on the timeline. The story we are getting right now, with Mel going to Noxus after Arcane, is confirmed to be after Swain took over Noxus, which means it is after the Noxian invasion, but before the Triforix happened. Another cool thing that got confirmed is that the one guy in the cinematic that got killed by Katarina was supposed to be the vessel for the Darkin that LeBlanc is trying to get, which is why Vladimir told LeBlanc that it is a shame she lost her host. But the cool part is that all the teasers we got previously on social media, including some of the images, were supposed to tease that Vladimir was afraid of the Darkin the entire time, and so he was responsible for Katarina appearing there and just killing the host, so that LeBlanc would try not to get another host. Of course, all of this comes from the fact that Vladimir is afraid of the Darkin because he knows what they can do. Anyway, after this, in the presentation, we also got a quick summary of the entire Spirit Blossom story. You know, myths that are canonically believed in by Ionians. After which we got to the good part, where everyone was in awe. We got straight into the skin showcase. So, as Riot previously confirmed, going forward, not all skins part of the battle passes, as well as the skins in general, will be just a singular theme. There will be variety skins, but there will also be other alternative universes part of the main battle pass. And in this case, the next Spirit Blossom battle pass will include some Nightbringers and Dawnbringers. So first of all, there is Dawnbringer Janna. Now, from what we've been shown, this one is quite simple. It kinda reminds me a little bit of a Star Guardian Janna somehow, but that's only through the spell effects and stuff like that. But if you're a fan of this thematic in general, it's not like you're gonna get offended. Next, there is Nightbringer Evelyn. Now, I do foresee some people not liking how simple this skin is. You could argue it is a burnt-out infernal skin, but you know what? The demonic form actually fits Evelyn really well. It does look like a dark demon that's running around, and you know what? That probably should be the point. And finally, because every battle pass also needs a prestige skin, we are getting Prestige Spirit Blossom Z. Foreshadowing for what the normal skin is gonna be. But yes, the prestige skins are still somewhere in a limbo of being normal skins and just sparkly versions of those skins. And so this is just a really sparkly, crystally Spirit Blossom Z. Though because it is supposed to be a bit more special, it does have some cool effects. For example, you might be able to see that the shoulder pad is actually animated on its own. I believe it's all done through scrolling textures, but it is not something I expected. And since we already chomped into Spirit Blossom a little bit, yes, we're getting more Spirit Blossom skins. First of all, there is Kale. And here, I really want to point out that first form, because I really love that samurai aesthetic, and I am kinda sad she loses that aesthetic as she levels up. I was hoping maybe the armor would be the final form because it looks really cool. But hey, it's Spirit Blossom Kale. It looks good. There's not much to say. Next there is Hui. Hui was one of the champions that was teased in the original cinematic. So yes, we are getting a skin for him, and there are a lot of people in the audience who like this one. I don't really play Hui, so I'm gonna believe them. After which there is Akali. Now Akali does have a mask, as she should, but in a way it kinda reminded me of Blood Moon. This could be also why there was a Blood Moon mask on the Spirit Blossom Summoner's Rift. I don't know if this was intentional, and I don't know if maybe they're gonna swap the masks now. That would be a cool detail. But I just like the aesthetic of this one being just really deadly purple Blood Moon. Hey, it's an Akali skin. It looks good. People are likely gonna be happy. After this, Nidalee was also revealed, and yes, Nidalee was also originally shown in the cinematic. And here I can tell you, yes, the cougar form is slightly more important than the human form, and yes, it looks really good. It's not just a normal cat, which is what some other skins are getting. Now, of course, because every one of these bigger skin lines has to have a legendary skin, we are gonna get legendary Karma, which should make a lot of Karma players happy. What's even cooler than just the aesthetics, which are awesome because Karma is all about spells and Spirit Blossoms have good spell effects, is the story, because apparently the legendary Karma is the creator of all the spirits. Which might mean this is one of the most important spirits of the Spirit Blossom universe. Is what I would say if there wasn't an Exalted skin. So yes, we are getting Exalted skin for Morgana. And the way it was presented to us seemed kind of fine. Now yes, it is an Exalted skin, so we all know my opinion. I would be happier if they weren't here. But if the Exalted skins can actually pay for content that is free, hence why we are getting a lot of cool game modes these days. And if people are actually getting something worthy for the big skin price, then sure, let them be. And so apparently, the new skin for Morgana was created with a new process. What Riot did is that Riot assembled a council of Morgana mains. This means they possibly got some pro players, they got really high ranked players, but they also got just a bunch of normal players who have really high masteries. And with this council of Morgana mains, they put the skin together. This is really cool to hear because you can tell they did not do this with Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser, the champion that's all about armor, did not have armor. Anyway, a new cool thing that you'll be able to see around Morgana are ambient effects. Specifically, whenever there is Morgana on your team, you'll see a lot of butterflies around the Summoner's Rift. And when Morgana walks close to these butterflies, they will swarm around her. Now yes, for gameplay purposes, the enemy team will not see these butterflies because if you walk into a bush, you'll be revealed. But overall, from the aesthetic point of view, it looks really good. On top of this, Morgana does also have dynamic music. And apparently, the voice of these themes is the daughter of the head of Studio Ghibli. Actually, I'm not sure if it's the head, I just know that that person is related to the studio, which is pretty cool. Moving on. The new skin, since it is an Exalted skin, will also have 3 forms. There is a normal form, then there is a red form, and then there is what they call the Growth Mother. Now, I'm not exactly sure if these level up based on the champion level, or if they change based on your takedowns. But I can tell you that the Growth Mother pops up during your ultimate. You'll see there is more things tied to this in a bit. Because next, yes, this skin also has a Control 5 toggle. Something that is really cool to see if it's not a part of Hall of Legends. And what it does here is that it gives Morgana a mask. Because it is Spirit Blossom. Now, you'll see that these forms with the masks also change the butterflies. So once again, everything is tied to the ambient effects. But this skin also has new combo VFX for your spells. So for example, if you root someone and then you drop the W underneath them, you'll get a special VFX above them. It's nothing big, but it is something cool. And should you get a takedown, there will be flowers blooming from their corpses. Now next, still playing into this idea of cool combos. If you get a 5-man ultimate, which means you just tag 5 people, it doesn't have to root them at the end, you will get new dynamic music depending on how many people you got. All of this will also be followed with some cool new UI VFX. And finally, all of this will also be followed up with some cool new UI elements. So with all of these together, yes, it is starting to feel like Exalted skins again. Even though the first one was missing some features and the second one took a while to get there. So hey, maybe this is gonna be the first Exalted skin that actually might not have to go through massive changes. Unless the community finds something, because hey, I just had a presentation. After which there is one more thing, which is new Nexus finisher. It doesn't look as cool as the Noxian one, in my opinion, but it looks cool, which is pretty much it for the skins. So next, let's talk about ARAM. So as it seems, every season there is gonna be a big change to something, be it game mode or Summoner's Rift, with the Noxian season getting Arena as well as Atakan. And so now, in the Spirit Blossom season, ARAM players behold. So we are getting two new cool changes. First of all, there is new Spirit Blossom ARAM. But wait, we are not gonna talk about this one just yet. Because while we will get a new ARAM map, Riot is actually starting an ARAM rotation. Which means every time you get into ARAM, one of three maps will be chosen. Either the classic Howling Abyss, or the new Spirit Blossom, or now updated Butcher's Bridge. Yes, we are actually getting updated Butcher's Bridge, which is ARAM we've been waiting for years. I'm kinda more excited for this one than the new Spirit Blossom one. Anyway, what the team mentioned is that they wanna show us more places around Runeterra. And ARAM is kinda really good for this. So while they didn't confirm whether there would be more skins for ARAM going down the line, from what they mentioned, it seems to be likely. But for now, let's talk about the new bridges. The Butcher's Bridge is near identical to what we've had before, but because the old ARAM actually had differences from the new one that we have now, especially with the bush placement and stuff like that, the map was still updated, and instead of the Hextech portals, because it is Butcher's Bridge, we are getting the cannon, which acts exactly like it does in something like Earth. So it's cool to see that the ARAM maps are already getting slightly different, even though the gameplay should be the same. Speaking of which, yes, then there is also the Spirit Blossom map, and this one has a really tiny side lane in the middle. It is not as big as it was for Arcane, it is really just a tiny pocket that you can fight over. Speaking of which, I forgot to mention, yes, the Butcher's Bridge also has a flower in the middle that you can also fight over. It's like a tiny objective. But on Spirit Blossom, there is also a portal that just takes you across. And it works for some really cool plays. In fact, we were able to get the world's first pentakill on the new ARAM.
I don't have ult right
Oh,
now.
no, yeah. I do now.
If I ult, will it knock them back to y'all?
Oh!
That's crazy, bro. Cannot talk shit about that Mubu ever.
Give me
Oh my god.
Penta,
Yeah, give me
Penta.
Penta.
I feel like LS is gonna.
Hey!
Let's go.
Yes, sir!
Is that Tyler?
Holy. Wow, first Penta in new ARAM?
True!
Also, the name of the new ARAM is Goshen Crossing, because of course it is related to Ionia, with the cool new feature being that if you die, you get transported into the Spirit Realm. There's nothing special about it, it's the same thing as if you died on Summoner's Rift, but now it's blue. And finally, there is one more change heading to ARAM, and that is that your champions are no longer just one random champion. Now, when you queue into ARAM, you will be able to choose from 2 or 3 different champions. It should be 2 or 3 depending on how much honor you got and stuff like that. But yes, instead of just getting one champion and everyone waiting for you to use your reroll so that their pool is bigger, now everyone will pick one champion from their pool, after which everything that was not picked will just go into the overall pool. This should make ARAM a lot more fun for people who don't like that much of the randomness, but more importantly, this should prevent more dodges. So ARAM games in general should also get faster. And for now, that's kinda it. Again, there are more things that we will talk about soon, but the embargoes are not lifted yet. For example, what we can mention is that there will be a meta game, which brought me back to good old arcade times, I guess. Look, you guys are probably so young you have no idea what I'm talking about. But all of that is something for the next time. So what I got from this trip is that, yeah, Riot is working on stuff. I don't know what changed last year, but we are getting more and more content somehow. Though we can also start to guess what exactly happened. There are new ways for Riot to finance all of this. And so now, all we need is for people to get high quality stuff from those higher prices. After this, we might be good. I never thought I would say this.